our hands full this week. Got Division One. Playing up a division, Utah State. They are a very talented, well-coached team. This program is not unfamiliar with Utah State in many respects. Played a couple of our coaches have coached there, GA'd there, and one of our coaches played there. And Idaho State several years ago went down to Logan for a non-conference game, and then I've had a little history with them from Wyoming up through UNLV. So we're looking forward to an exciting game. It's a great venue, and they've improved it even more so. I liken it a lot to Montana Stadium, only a little bit bigger, and they're going to be excited for their home opener, and they're going to be hungry for a win.
Hey Rob, just going back to the Western Oregon game, we talked, but what did it mean for you personally, getting your first win as a head coach?
Just it's a matter of verifying everything that we as a staff have done. It's not something that I went home that night and went, yeah. As you guys know, as soon as it was over, I was thinking about these guys.
Yeah.
So no, it was satisfying. And as I said all along, the biggest thing was seeing the kids dance and sing the fight song with the students and in the locker room. That's the best part. The other stuff for me, I've been in enough games, but these guys need to smile and have some fun.
I'm assuming you watched Utah State's game live.
Yeah.
When you watch a game live, how much can you pick up on that? Nothing?
Very, very little. Sometimes you watch a game and you might be able to pick up a snap count or something, but that's why for us coaches, our footage is so much different than what they show on TV. Sometimes you can see some things happening, but when we watch a game, we'll more or less just kind of get a physical look at the guys, how they look. If a guy from Utah State looks pretty good next to a dude from Wisconsin, he's a pretty good looking, muscled up type guy, things like that. But really, you don't get a whole lot. Our analysis comes from the footage from the school.
So do you need an all 22 and an end zone camera to get that?
That's how we watch it, sideline and then the end zone. That's where we do all of our study off of. The TV copy doesn't like I said, doesn't help us. It's fun to watch, but for the most part, you really can't see what you need to see.
Rob, just doing basic stuff on Utah State, they seem like they've got an interesting mix of players this year. They got a lot of skill guys back, their quarterbacks back, but they're kind of like rebuilding their offensive and defensive lines.
They have
a lot of inexperience there.
Yeah, they have a whole new offensive line, 5 starters. They're they're good at this, great at the skill positions. I think they're running back. They got a receiver back. Quarterback's a senior, three-year letter winner. Defensive line has some new faces in there, but there's number 19 is their guy. They keep him in there in all their situations, and he's a goer. He's a good linebacker. They got a great safety in the Levitt kid. I think Jalen Davis. I don't know if he got a personal foul and got ejected for a helmet-to-helmet shot against Wisconsin, so probably be out first half. He's their best defensive back, and it doesn't matter if we got to play just as well if he's in there or anybody else in there, So, but I think they have a very physical brand of defense that they play, and it's got guys coming all over the place. Tough to pick them up.
So they blitz a lot?
Oh, they blitz a lot, yeah. And the way we do things in practice, we just tell the defensive scouts just to line up where they want to and hit a gap, because we don't know where they're coming from, and it's tough to pick that up.
Offensively, Rob, can you give us a sense as to what they'd like to try to do?
They're gonna go fast and real fast, like the Oregon style, and that's where their coordinator came from.
Yeah.
Kind of that whole Oregon cult that's going on,
Yeah.
and they're just gonna try to get as many plays they can. They're gonna try to establish the run. Even though Oregon is a spread style of offense, it's a run first. You know, that's the whole style, and that's what they want to do. They want to establish the run, and their running back is very good.
How do you prepare for that?
For
The Oregon.
the Oregon, it's tough. One thing we have to, we're lucky that we try to do that in some respects, and so it's not too much of an adjustment for the defense. You know, you just have to probably limit your calls. You know, you can't have big, long, lengthy defensive calls and very intricate stuff to do. And that's the beauty of doing that. It keeps you in a base front, you know, and that's why we try to do it, to limit what people can do against us. We don't go as fast as them, but you know, they're fast. So it's fun to watch. Just one of those, you know, the receivers are looking to the side. As soon as the play's over, the receivers are looking to the sidelines and running to get lined up. It's fun. It's fun to watch. It sucks to play against it, but it's fun to watch.
Is their base defense, coach, a 4-3 or 3-4?
It's
Or is it like a hybrid?
It's a hybrid. Like I said, there's guys all over the place. They line up in all kinds of different places, and they're all over the place. So it's tough to. It's going to be a definite task for us to identify where they are and see what they're doing and hopefully get bodies on them. That's what was giving Wisconsin fits in the first half, and Wisconsin finally settled down to it. But you know, like I said, it's one of those things where it's one thing to practice what you think you're going to get, but then when you go against it on game day, it's an absolutely different animal.
Utah State, with respect to them, they played pretty well with Wisconsin for about
Yes.
28 minutes.
Yes, it was one of those deals where we're watching Wisconsin going, oh man, you know, I bet that coaches ain't very happy, you know. But you know, I've been in that stadium before in a game, and for Utah State to go in there and play the way they did, that's not an easy thing to do. You know, Camp Randall's a bear to play in, and then throw that team out there on the field as well.
What do you know about Coach Wells and what he's trying to do with that program as they build? What's their strategy in what they're doing in Logan?
I think Coach Wells is very similar to, go back to, say it again, Bobby Hauck. You know, he wants to preach tough defense, run the ball, and play sound special teams. And I think they've had quite a run down there, and I think they just hit a little blip on the radar. I think they're going to be back. They look really good on film. They're very talented, and so I think that's the program he's trying to establish, to suffocate you on defense and run the ball down your throat on offense.
After watching your film from Thursday's game, what areas do you know you have to improve this week going into this
Well,
game?
pass protection is going to be one. 5 sacks is not good enough. Quarterback throwing the ball on time. You know, there's a couple things that he just missed that he'll get better at. Catch. You know, we had some drops that we need to rectify that. The good thing about our offense is we had very minimal, if any, missed assignments, just like straight out where a guy went the wrong way. And that's a good sign. Defensively, we got to not let teams get off the hook on 3rd and long, like we did a couple times, and so that's an area we need to improve there.
There's a couple schools of thought in FBS versus FCS in the money game. You know, from a Power 5 perspective, they don't really want that because it limits their ability to get into the national championship if they have too many. So from this perspective, what are your thoughts on FBS, FCS?
I think it's a great opportunity for our kids to go out, and they all want to go out and play against a Division I team, FB, whatever the letters. I won one AA. I'm old school. Sorry, I get them confused. I really don't, but I think it's a great opportunity if you pick the right game. Is it smart to go play Alabama? No, you know, but a team that we are a little closer to. You know, Utah State, and a regional matchup is always good too, because a lot of our guys know a lot of their guys. So I think they're fun games, and the kids, I think the kids really like going to play them, and usually you got a little bit bigger crowd than most places in the Big Sky, and a little bit more media coverage. So it's fun. It gives them a chance to see what it's really like to be a college football player.
Do you find that it's getting easier for you now at your position, knowing what you have to do, what you don't have to do when you play?
Yeah, I feel like it gets a little easier because once you know your plays and you know your techniques and stuff, then the game kind of slows down a lot for you. You can start with focusing more on what your opponent's tendencies are, what their formations are, and you can really get a feel of what they're going to do and kind of get a read off that. Because, I mean, if you know what you're doing, then the game basically slows down for you. So then you can just focus on getting a read to kind of get ahead of the competition. So get one more step on them to be able to just be that much quicker to the ball or know exactly where they're going to run it. And it kind of just breaks down. So it's like a game inside of a game for me. And it's just over the years, it's gotten a lot better for me. And this year, it's definitely improved tremendously. And just that exposure of watching film and just knowing what you're doing is really helps slow it down.
Coach mentioned, do you guys know guys on the Utah State team?
Yeah, I know a couple guys. I played with a couple from BYU when I was there, so
Okay.
know a couple of them.
Hagan, just tell us about thoughts on going into Logan, into Maverick Stadium, and playing a Mountain West team.
I mean, we're just ready for the competition. They're a really good team. It's going to be a fun environment. FBS games are always fun. They always bring a lot of people no matter what the game is. And the competition, I mean, they got a lot of good dudes, so it's going to be a nonstop battle.
When it's FBS versus FCS, do you guys feel like you have to go out there and prove something to them? Or do you feel like they're looking down on you, that you got to go out there and kind of show them that you guys can play?
I guess it just kind of depends on the team. A lot of the teams that we've played, they haven't taken us lightly, and they come out fired up no matter what, because it's game day. It's college game day. You're gonna be pumped up to play no matter what, who lines up in front of you. I'd just say that they look like they got a lot of dudes, and they're gonna come out to play.
When you guys saw the video from the Wisconsin game, I know different positions watch different parts of the game, but what were your impressions of Utah State after watching the tape?
They're a good team. They got some good players, and as do we. So I just feel like it's going to be a physical fight between both of us, and just play as hard as we can and hope for the best.
Hagan, reflecting on last Thursday's game, it seemed to take the offense a long time to finally get its footing. As you guys have watched film and worked with the coaches, what's your take on why it took so long?
Just knocking off the rust. Just trying to get the ball going. Catching the ball was a big thing. I mean, I dropped a pass that was pretty crucial, and it kind of slowed it down. So there's a lot of things that we got to improve on, and we did in the second half, as a lot of people saw. So I think we'll be better coming out the gate today, on Thursday.
Speaking of last week's game, Coach said that number 4 was just so amped up that they had to get him to settle down. What's been kind of the practice or the talk over the weekend about getting in that flow early on, getting settled down and getting into the flow? How do you prepare for that?
You just practice hard during the week, and I mean, we were practicing hard before Western Oregon, and we were just really hyped up and just ready to play. And I mean, we'll be ready to play on Thursday.
Anything else? John, what do you know about their offense, and what do you guys, Coach said they're going to go fast. How difficult is that for you guys on defense, and especially in the line where you guys are constantly trying to get your breath?
Well, I mean, yeah, they go pretty fast, but we've been training all summer. We've been training since January with our offense. It goes pretty fast. So, I mean, we've had our conditioning up pretty good. So really, it's going to be a challenge, but not as much as a challenge as it would have been in previous years, but maybe. So, I mean, our conditioning's way better than it's been in the past, and coaches really made sure we're ready for teams like this. And our offense goes pretty fast, and they've been training pretty fast as well during like the spring ball and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's going to be a challenge, but as long as we're ready for it, I don't think it'll be an issue. So,
John Rahim, you mentioned conditioning. For each one of you, if you would comment on how much difference you noticed, even in the first game, in terms of being able to stay at a higher level for longer in the game.
mean, last year, you know, you would see us at halftime, and everyone would be gassed, breathing hard still, and kind of down. This year, everyone was up. You know, we're like, all right, we're ready. You know, this is what we trained for. This is what we're prepared for. Now let's go finish this.
Megan?
I would say the same thing. We just had a lot of time this summer to really tune up our conditioning, and we did. And then fall camp was rough too. We turned up the pace, and especially for the defense, it was tough to stay up with the offense because we try and run plays as quick as possible. So the game was way easier than practice.
That it? Okay, thanks guys.
Sweet.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.